Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tap Often podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and with me, as always, is my sleeveless and hairless co-host, BJ. BJ, how are you?
And I'm fabulous, and I do have hair.
Did you just get looks like you got a fresh shave, though.
Last night.
Yeah.
It was last night. So it's at the point where when I take a hoodie off, it's not quite Velcro, but it's getting close. Yeah, as my students like to point out when I take off a hoodie in class, and they're like, "You have white fuzz all over your head, Mr. Ketchum." I'm like, "You're indeed correct, kid. Thanks for letting me know." So yeah, I'm doing great, buddy. Doing great.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. We always forget to do this, but feel free to contact us at the tapoftenpodcast@gmail.com or at tapoftenpodcast on Instagram. We do answer questions here on the show, so if you have something important to tell us, let us know. Now, BJ, you don't know this about me. I've never said this to you, but one thing I've always dreamed of for my life is to be a late night talk show host, and I'm going to use this podcast as a way to live out my fantasy. So the most important part of a talk show, as you know, is the monologue, BJ.
Yeah.
And
so are you going to rip a monologue?
I'm going to rip a monologue. Now, I don't have a crack team of joke writers, but I'll tell you what I do have is I do have ChatGPT to assist me in joke writing. So I got some jokes here. I want you to see if you can figure out who wrote the joke. All right.
Oh my gosh. Is it like a celebrity person, I'm assuming, wrote the joke?
ChatGPT is the celebrity, I guess. Yeah, you could call them.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
I'm probably going to suck at this, but
it's pretty obvious who when I
So it's either you or ChatGPT?
Yeah, I was shocked at how bad some of these jokes were.
I don't know, man. I teach third grade. I hear a lot of really bad dad jokes. I got one for you. Hey, before you kick this off, you ready?
Go for it.
Have you heard the rumor about butter?
No.
Sorry, can't spread it. One of my guys said that to me in class, and I started laughing out loud. I'm like, "Dude, can I use that all day today?"
Dude, none of my jokes are going to be able to keep up with that. You've ruined me. There's no.
Sorry, I
doing
set the bar high.
Yeah. All right, let's get started with this. The Tap Often late night talk show monologue.
Oh God, here we go.
All right, here we go. Hey, BJ, it's been rumored Conor McGregor will be returning to the octagon to fight Max Holloway. Did you hear about this? Hear about that?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
McGregor talks so much trash, even his left hand waits for the press conference before knocking people out.
What? Zing! That's true. I think Uncle Dana wrote that one.
The WWE has released many wrestlers, including the New Day's Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. You know, the economy is bad when not even the Slim Jim branded tables at WrestleMania can keep the company afloat.
Dude, when they came out like 20 years ago.
The Slim Jim branded tables? No, those are a recent thing.
No, Kofi.
Oh yeah. I know. People are shocked. I'm like, they're in their 40s, and one of them is injured right now. What do you?
Right? What was the name of the three of them?
The New Day.
With the New Day. What was the big dude's name?
Big E Langston.
Yeah, Big E. He was big, dude.
Yeah, he had to retire. He messed up his neck.
Oh, is that what happened to him?
Yeah, because he kept doing this a dive through the ropes to the outside.
Oh, yeah.
That was super dangerous, and
he was a beast, man. Him and isn't Xavier Woods like supposed to be some like gamer, like famous gamer?
Yeah, he has a pretty successful YouTube channel called Up Up Down Down, I think is what his is called.
Genius.
Yeah.
We need to talk to his marketing person.
Excuse me, there's no discussion during the monologue, BJ. Save it.
Sorry, that would not make it a monologue.
I got two more jokes to knock your socks off, all right? BJ, did you see that jiu-jitsu black belt Gilbert Burns has retired from MMA? Did you see that?
I did.
All right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people know that his nickname Dorino directly translates to hard little one. I've just been told BJ will not let me finish this joke, so we're gonna move on to the next joke.
There went my socks.
And lastly, BJ, John Jones' arms are so long. Come on.
They're so long.
You gotta say, how long are they? Let's restart.
How long?
Okay.
How
Hold
long?
on.
Let's
I'm
try
gonna
again. Ready?
restart. Let's try this again.
Yeah, restart this one.
John
Okay.
Jones' arms are so long.
How long are they?
He can poke you in the eye from a different zip code.
Accurate.
And that's my monologue.
Is it a joke if it's true?
Well, I guess not. So, BJ, of those 4 quality jokes, who wrote what?
So you wrote the John Jones joke.
No, I did not. That was Chat.
That was
Chat
that was
GPT.
Chat. You wrote the Conor McGregor joke.
No, also, Chat. How dare you? The Conor McGregor one doesn't even make any sense, dude.
That's why I said it. I thought the John Jones one made sense. The Conor McGregor didn't, and you said no to John Jones. So, logically, I'm thinking I'll pick the worst one.
No, the Gilbert Burns joke was obviously me. I mean, that's
yeah,
classic joke.
Sure.
Classic.
Yeah. And then the other one was yours too.
The Slim Jim one was mine. Yeah.
Nice. The wrestling one's just too obvious, I think.
What do you mean too obvious?
I think it's too obvious.
I asked them to give me New Day jokes. They were awful.
But you asked, the way it was written though, was assuming like they just came out.
What do you mean they just came out?
Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods.
They were released. They were fired. That's what the joke. You're not even listening to me, man.
I was thinking release.
You've ruined my monologue. You're even the worst audience member of all time. You're talking. You're not listening. All right.
I'm kind of like the Ed McMahon to your.
No, you're
Johnny
not.
Carson.
No, Ed McMahon sat there and laughed at every single joke. Oh, oh.
So funny. All right, can we try one of these jokes again?
No, it's too late. Next time I do this, right. I need you to be drunk on the couch like Ed McMahon, just laughing at whatever I say. It doesn't need to make any sense. Next up, our new segment, Double Vision.
Double Vision.
I'm going to use that to make our song. I like that. We're going to use that kind of as a prompt.
Like that?
I like that.
You like a little bit?
BJ, do you have anything you've watched in the past 3 weeks that you would like to highlight for the listeners?
Yeah. One is it was released on Amazon Prime, which is a horror sci-fi show featuring an amazing actor, Harold Perrineau, and awesome, hooked on it, right? All in. 4 seasons of this to get caught up on.
Jeez.
I'm on episode 4. I'm stoked. I'm into it. Can't wait to see what happens. And I get a notification on Amazon Prime that says, you've got 24 hours left to finish watching the whole series.
Oh, no.
And then I have to buy it. I was like, are you kidding me? So now here I am debating. Do I want to commit $9.99 with gas prices being what they are?
That's true. That's 2 gallons of gas right there.
Yeah, but in my truck, that only gets me 10 miles. So I was really like super excited. Now I'm super bummed because I don't really want to pay for it. I'm already paying for stuff,
I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere else.
It's got to, man. I was really interested to see what's going to go, but I think I'm actually going to do it.
No,
I think I'm actually going to do it or not. I don't know. I'm stuck, but yeah, it's pretty good. It was interesting.
I saw the first 2 episodes a while ago. So for those who don't know, the concept of the show is there is a town that people can't leave. If you drive away, it'll loop you back around. So they're all stuck in this town.
And then at night, they're plagued by something. We'll just say people in something in human form.
I would like to highlight something I watched this weekend, and that was the PGF playoffs. Are you familiar with PGF, BJ?
Oh, yes, I am. Yeah.
All right.
Do tell.
Well, that's run by Brandon. I think it's McCracken. I just know him as BMac. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's a 10 Planet guy, and he has created the PGF, and they have a really interesting seasonal system. So there's 4 teams, and there's a draft lottery for a player pool, and so there's like a salary cap for each team, and you bid. The owners are coaches or whatever bid on different competitors to be on their team. And then there's 5 events and then a playoff. And the rules are it's submission only, and it can end at a draw, I believe. But there's a point system. So what they call a kill or a choke is worth 6 points, and then any other type of submission is called a break, and it's only worth 3 points. And the team with the highest amount of points at the end of the season wins a cash prize, and then the individual competitors with the highest score totals move on to the playoffs to determine the champion. And I thought the point system was interesting because it encourages chokes over something like a leg lock because you get less points for the leg lock.
As you should.
But I will say I watched like the first week, I think, and it was a lot of leg locks. And then I kind of was like, okay, I don't want to watch this anymore. But then I came back for the playoffs, and I thought the playoffs, the match quality was really good. I'd highlight the Adkins versus Weimer match for anyone interested. That had a really cool back mount control where the guy was, I mean, there was no way that guy was getting out. I won't say who to avoid spoilers, but there's really cool back control there. And then another guy, Jet Thompson, also had a really cool sequence. He had a seatbelt on someone, but the bottom hook wasn't in yet. And the adjustment he made to get the bottom hook in was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where did you see it at? What service?
That's a good question. It's free on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
So just type in
free on YouTube.
Yeah, PGF on YouTube. Their channel has everything on there. All the 5 regular season events and then the playoffs.
Oh, nice. Is this the inaugural season of that too?
No, I think this is the 6th season.
Oh wow.
The only thing I didn't like, they have so it's a standard jiu-jitsu mat, so they're not using the pit, but there are seats right next to the mat of people on couches, and the out of bounds situation was a bit annoying because there wasn't a lot of mat space. That's what I like about the pit, is there's no out of bounds issues.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I've heard of it, but I've seen it come across like my social media, but I haven't checked it out. That's awesome. I love that you can get so much like free content, like competitions nowadays too. It's awesome.
Now the next thing I'm going to highlight is also free on YouTube, but I don't recommend anyone watches it. And that was the most recent Gamebred FC event, which is Jorge Masvidal's organization.
His promo, right?
Yeah. And it's bare knuckle MMA, which, it sounds cool, but think of the talent pool you have available for a bare knuckle MMA event. It was a lot of people in their late 30s.
So it was like UFC 1 and 2.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw maybe 4 matches. I started it halfway in the middle of the thing, and I saw 2 heavyweight fights, and I was like, I cannot handle watching UFC. I can barely watch UFC heavyweights fight, and this is just like 3 steps below that.
There was no Tank Abbott out there.
I mean, it's guys with his physique for sure, but maybe not his charisma.
Is that what that's called?
And the audience, I mean, they had people in the audience such as Lil Pump, who, I'm sure everyone's wants his thoughts on MMA. And
who's Lil Pump?
Lil Pump, he did a song. His claim to fame was a song called Gucci Gang back in the day, and he had a song with Kanye West. Brendan Schaub was on commentary, so that's the quality.
Some high level commentary right there
from Bubba himself. There was a cool submission I saw. It was this guy had back mount, and he did an Americana to the guy from back mount. I think it's called the Thunder Lock.
I like that.
It kind of looked like a chicken wing, if you're familiar with Bob Backlund.
Oh yeah, of course.
But
that's awesome. I like anything that is not traditional. Where I was coaching yesterday, and someone's like, "That was more of a crank." I'm like, "Well, yeah." I'm like, the person tapped, and they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. In the PGF I was watching, there were a lot of, because in the playoffs they had like an EBI style overtime, and so there was a lot of like rear naked choke attempts and stuff. And It seems to me at high level, they don't care if it's under the chin or over the nose they're going to break something in your face. You're going to tap either from the choke or your nose being broken. Not
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, and I'll be honest with you too, like philosophically, like I don't have an issue with that stuff, like with the face at all. Like now shoulders and like joint manipulation, like small joint manipulation or shoulder manipulation, elbows. Like I think it's you got to be safer on that. Like you just don't crack on something. But like if someone's got their forearm across my face, like there's hope still, right? So it's my job to like try to work through that and like just toughen up a little bit. But like when it comes to like elbows and shoulders, knees, ankles, like nah, it's that can go way too quick
yeah.
and be catastrophic.
Especially your shoulders, they would go immediately.
Yeah, immediately. These things,
Yeah, they're small and weak.
they are definitely weak. That's for sure. Oh, I officially, oh, by the way, officially have a troll on social media. It's great. Yeah. Yeah. I posted something about like someone was saying anybody who lifts dumbbells over 30, can't lift over 30 pounds or doesn't lift over 30 pounds is an old lady. And it was, of course, one of those really cool, like, streamers who has a really well manicured beard. And I have hoodies older than they do. And I was like, cool. And I posted a picture of me and like lifting or posing. And I got a troll who was like, I don't know, dude. You look all roided up and you got little T-Rex arms.
Nailed you, BJ. Nailed you. Perfect
I was
description.
like, you got it. Perfect description. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. My wife's like, don't feed the trolls.
Yeah,
Don't feed
you
the
really
trolls."
shouldn't engage with them, BJ.
I didn't, but I got a good kick out of it. I thought that was super funny.
Yeah. Last thing I'm gonna highlight, there was a UFC Perth on Saturday, and there was a cool
How many things are you highlighting?
Well, I'm
Jesus.
trying to stay in the know.
Okay.
It's just one thing. Cody Steele had a pretty cool heel hook, from like a knee bar position.
Hmm.
So I don't think it was a backside 50-50. He was on the other side.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but that was cool.
I love watching him grapple. He's so tough, man. Super tough.
Alrighty, let's move on to everyone's favorite segment: tap in, tap out.
Tap in now, tap out. Tap in now, tap out. Yeah!
Let's go.
Now I've talked a lot, BJ, so you can start us off. Well, actually, no, I'll start it off so then you can talk. BJ,
Okay.
For those who don't know, tap in, tap out. We will present a statement to the other person. If they agree, they'll say tap in. If they disagree, they'll say tap out. And regardless of their answer, they will explain. BJ, your statement: only weaklings put milk in their coffee.
Wow. Ooh, that's tough. Because I'm processing this as like my own issues, right?
Okay.
I'm okay with black coffee as long as it's espresso. But if it's like that, drip black coffee, I need a little bit of milk in there. Doesn't have to be a lot, a little half and half. I don't like milk. But yeah, I think I'll tap in.
Wow.
I think you should be able to handle your coffee without milk. I really do.
Okay.
Now, I hope you have some Mentos gum on hand because the bitterness that permeates from your mouth is pretty strong when it's just that straight dark coffee. And plus I'm old, so I grew up around people who are drinking like Sanka. And they thought that was good coffee. I don't even know. Do you even know what Sanka is?
No.
Oh, terrible. Like terrible. Instant terrible coffee. Terrible. Like think of like the bottom of a coffee pot whenever it burns
Mm-hmm.
and you have that residue there. Now just pour some water in that.
A second
Swirl
brew.
it up.
Yeah.
It's not even a second brew, it's the burnt brew. It's terrible. Yeah. So I'm gonna tap in on that. What do you think there, buddy?
I tap out. I think, For me, I like putting milk in there to cut on the acidity of it. No, I can drink coffee black. There's a time and a place for it. You go to a diner, a nice black coffee is good. But I don't begrudge anyone for adding milk, and I do love lattes or a flat white. That's what got me into coffee in the first place.
Flat white's so good. Such an underrated drink.
Where I draw the line, though, is if you're adding like a flavored cream thing to your coffee, or even a
International
flavored
Delights.
coffee in general. That's a no. That's a no for me.
Yeah.
Don't drink coffee.
I love that you have your pen in your hand as you're pontificating. I love it. The amount of like privilege you're demonstrating right now.
I should have had this in my hand for the monologue, and like some postcards.
You need to have the index cards.
Yeah,
just throw them
like a Letterman.
Yeah. Yep, that's what needs to happen.
Well,
Definitely.
for next
Definitely.
time. For next time.
Next time, kid. All right, here you got choices. All right, so you can go A or B.
Do I have to
You can
choose
go
now?
A.
This is a blind pick.
Blind pick A or B.
Let's go A for Alex.
A for Alex. All right, so Alex, I'm gonna name 4 people,
Okay.
and I've met all of these people except one.
Okay.
Are you tapping in or out that the person that I have met is Sylvester Stallone? Here are your 4 choices
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on.
to compare.
I
to
am
compare
very
this.
confused. Okay. There's a list of 4 people you've met,
I'm going to tell you.
all but one, but then
Go
you
ahead.
just asked me if you've met Sylvester Stallone. So what's the rest of the list even matter?
No, there's 4. I'm giving you 4 people. These are options.
Okay. And
Okay.
I have to pick the one you haven't met?
Do you think Sylvester Stallone is the one I haven't met? Okay, you ready?
I guess.
I know. I can see the math.
I still don't
happening in
know
your
how
head.
this is working. Okay.
It's going to work real simple. I'm
Okay.
going to say 4 people.
Okay. So the first is Sylvester Stallone. Okay. Next.
Yep. Kobe,
Kobe Bryant. Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Okay.
Royce Gracie.
Okay. I know you've met Hoyce. You would have had to. Well, I don't know if you have, but he's coming to the gym, so I feel like you probably met him there. So I'm gonna have to assume you met Hoyce. So that leaves Kobe, Arnold, and Sylvester Stallone.
And I'm saying that I have not met Sylvester, or I've met Sylvester Stallone. Do you tap in or tap out on that?
I'm gonna say you
For the
have.
audience,
I'm
Alex
gonna
is
say you
really-
have met him.
I have met Sly.
Yeah.
So you're tapping out on that. Okay.
My logic being, you're
Yeah.
from Pennsylvania, and Rocky takes place in Philly. So maybe at one point your paths crossed. That's
That's
the logic here.
Okay. All right. So who do you think I haven't met then? Out of them, just curious.
Kobe is
You're
so
up-
out there. I feel like you would have had to have met him in order for him to be on the list. It seems odd that you would include him in there if you haven't met him.
Just okay.
So then I guess the question is, who are you more likely to meet, Arnold or Sylvester Stallone? And now I'm thinking maybe you ran into Arnold at like a weightlifting thing. I don't know. I guess you haven't met Arnold. Like that's gonna be my guess.
Okay. All right. So Royce Gracie, yep, a few times.
Okay.
He came one time when this was like 20 years ago, and that was when I used to be strong, and he used me as a guinea pig, which was fun as a demonstration. And he did side control, and he's like, "How much do you lift?" And I was like, at that time I benched 425 and I weighed like 190, and he's like, "Press me off you." I could not move him. So that was one. Kobe, met him via phone call. In college.
Got it. The logic stands, bro. It's too weird for you to have said his name.
Yeah, man. So he was, it was my freshman year of college. His sister was best friends with this girl that I knew, and we all hung out together. And they left the dorm, phone rings. I'm in their room, pick up, and he's like, "Shea there." And I'm like, "She's not here. Who's calling? I'll let her know." And he goes, "This is her brother." And I started fanboying immediately. I was like, is this Kobe Bryant?
So is he in the league yet?
He's like, this was, he had just finished his senior year going into the league.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just finishing. He just had been on like Sports Illustrated. So I was like, and I went to college out by Philly. So, I mean, I was like, is this Kobe Bryant? He's like, yeah, man, can you just let her know I called? I'm like, I'm such a big fan. I'll definitely let her know. And then I hung up like super quick.
Yeah. Well, good. You saved him some trouble of having to
Right.
get out of that.
His sister was really cool. She was cool. She was like 6'5".
Damn.
Yeah, volleyball player at LaSalle.
Ooh.
And Stallone met him
Oh,
at the Arnold Classic.
Yes. Let's go.
But I met him at the Arnold Classic. And we walked past each other, and he was standing next to me for probably about like a minute. And I'm like looking at him and I'm like, oh my God, dude, you are short. You're shorter than me.
Mm-hmm.
And he had like thick, like Cuban heels on, man, all black. And I just remember looking at him, and he wasn't like super big at the time. And I was probably like around 200. And I was just like, oh my God, like you're not as big as I always imagined you would be.
Mm-hmm.
And, but Arnold, never met Arnold. And I've been to the Arnold a few times and just never, but when he comes through there, man, like he has a team around him.
I figured it'd be hard to get to him.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Yep. So
I nailed it.
Arnold.
None of my logic reasoning was correct, but I still arrived at the right answer, and that's really all that matters.
And that's really all that matters, because that's who you are.
Hey.
You're a man of attempted logic. And
as long as you have a logic, right? There's a thought
yeah,
thing there. People can follow along.
absolutely. A squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Exactly.
Right?
All right. Well, another exciting tap in, tap out. If you have any suggestions for a tap in, tap out, feel free to hit us up. Again, tapoftenpodcast@gmail.com or on Instagram @tapoftenpodcast. Let's get into our main topic here. And as a lead into that, BJ, last episode we kind of briefly mentioned it, but I would like to give you more time to discuss it, that you recently got your brown belt. And I was wondering, how you felt about it. Did you think, I think this is something a lot of people feel when they do get a belt promotion. Did you feel like you earned it? Do you feel like you are a brown belt?
Man, that's an interesting question. I think like everybody, whatever belt you get to, you always feel like a bit of a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also just because I think a couple things happen. One is that you just wonder whether or not you're good enough to receive that promotion, just like in any type of promotion you get, whether it's work or in a hobby or whatever. So you just kind of question your legitimacy with that. And then I think what happens too is, and this has happened at every belt, I think at every belt I've been in, and I've seen this with just people I've worked with and teammates, is you find out like you are not any different when you get your promotion on day one compared to the previous day when you were a different belt, right? So like you go from blue to purple and you're like, I'm no different, right? But what you find out is everybody who is better than you is different. And they almost have been letting you work. And then you get like this belt promotion and you find out like the people who have been better than you, their game just got a lot more complicated for you. If I think you're in a healthy gym, because you have people who are trying to develop you as a skill or as a practitioner in your skills. So I found that like every time I leveled up, everybody got better. And the black belts got much better. I think you get that place where you're like a blue belt and you're like, yeah, I can hang with like some brown belts. And then every once in a while you might be able to catch a black belt, like in a tricky situation. And then you realize like they're kind of like messing with you a little bit. And then you get to like a purple belt and you're like, you'll be able to tap a black belt like every once in a while. Right. And you're like, or at least get close to it. And then because you're getting better because it was harder to do, but you've been doing it longer. So you're getting just more practice. So, and then I found the same thing, like what I found though, going like getting promoted now, and I think it's also unique because I'm in a gym that I own. That I
BJ paid for
co.
his brown
So
belt. That's what he's saying.
yeah, Moneyberg style. What? Except I didn't pay enough money and it took way too long. I'm on a different. I'm on the Kmart layaway plan.
I got a
And,
Rent-A-Center brown belt. I got to return it at the end of the month.
like how long you want to lay this away? Can we do 9 years? Is that cool? 9-year plan. But I found too though, like you carry more weight, like people listen to you a little more because you know, like you're a higher belt than you were. But you also, I think you have to be really thoughtful about what you're saying and know still knowing like your limitations. Like don't offer advice on something that you don't really know enough about, but really keep it on the athlete. Like ask questions, like, and be honest with yourself. Like, I don't know the answer to that. I had a person ask me the other day in class, we were working on scrambling and then looking for opportunities to sweep or reverse somebody from like bottom half guard. And I showed him this, we were in this position and I was like, well, if you take away this part of the base and you've eliminated this part of the base and you drive your hip this way, the person's going to topple over. And they're like, well, what's that called? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's a legit, you know, with quotation marks, but I know that if I take away 2 parts of the base, they're going to tip over on that side. And it was like one of those things where I just had to be honest. Like, I don't know. He's like, is that called blah, blah, blah? And I was like, I really don't know, man. I really don't know. But that's also like, you have to try to figure out those things. And if there is a name for it, name it. And if there's not, name it after yourself, because that's what all the cool kids do. Right. But, which I would never do, because I'm not cool.
You don't believe in yourself enough.
I don't.
Well,
I don't have unicorn syndrome.
But how did you feel personally about the brown belt? You know, did you feel like it was time?
Yeah, honestly, like I felt like, and I say that not because I'm like better or anything like that. I feel like I've grown, especially from like a coaching perspective. I could compete more often than I do. That's for sure. But I'm also limited in how much I want to compete just because of my history with like my shoulder and all that stuff. And I don't want to take chances.
And steroids and stuff. And your T-Rex arms.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just, I think the time was right. But I also now know like I got so much more work to do, like at this belt, you know. And I think also Paul and Chad have done a really good job of making me become the best version of myself on the mat. And I think it's a testament to them as coaches and teachers, because I feel like they got me ready to be where I'm at. You know, I think if I had like coaches who weren't as good, and didn't like train me as well, then that would be reflected in my confidence and whether or not I feel like I'm ready to be there. But it's interesting because that's like one of the questions they ask people like in a black belt test is they'll be like, do you feel like you've earned this? You deserve it. And some people were like, really, you know, no, you would never say, yes, I've earned this. And then there's some people like, own it. Like, you've gotten this far. If you've gotten to this point, like, yeah, you've earned it. You know, and it just comes back to the people who say that you've earned it. Are they good? Are they legit? You know, and I think that's where the confidence comes from. Like, yeah, I deserve this thing because the people who promoted me are good. They know what they're doing. So I trust that, like, they put me here because they believe that I'm supposed to be there. I think people get too much into the self-deprecation of it and like, no, you know, I'm not good enough, you know, or like, I just don't feel like I'm ready. But if your coaches are great coaches and they think you're ready, then you're ready, and own that. Like, be confident about that. There's no shame in that. And you're going to lose too when you get to every belt. You get beat all the time. and it shouldn't be measured in that.
Well, it's funny you say that. I was listening to Faraz Zahabi, who was GSP's jiu-jitsu coach up at TriStar.
Mhm.
He was telling an anecdote about I think he was a purple belt who showed up at his gym, and he was like, I want you to demote me, because he got this belt at another gym, and he felt like he wasn't keeping up with the quality of people at TriStar. And Faraz said, in terms of like a confidence thing and a personal growth thing, it would be better to not promote someone, than to promote them and have their confidence shattered in a way like that.
I think that's totally fair.
But I think that gets into the question of what is a belt actually measuring, and I tried to get some different thoughts about like what a belt actually is, and I thought Big Dan out of New Wave, or I guess is it Kingsway now, the new Danaher Death Squad team. He said that a belt is a measure of your personal potential. So so you look at him or Nicky Rod when he was the black belt killer, or Helena Craver, they may have purple belts and they're beating black belts in competition, but they're purple belts because they haven't reached their personal potential of the highest level of skill.
Okay. I'm not sure I get that. I'm not sure I really understand that, right? Like, so what is that? That means there's an end game.
Well, there's like,
And what does that what does that mean for each belt? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I mean, exactly, because I don't think anyone really.
such a vague non-answer.
I know, I understand what he's saying. It's like, okay, I'm a purple belt, but I still have not learned everything that I can learn. I still haven't reached the top of my potential. I don't know everything, but my skill compared to other people is it's a different path, right? Like, you look at a hobbyist black belt versus a competitive black belt. There's a huge gap of skill there.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I think the framing a belt as personal potential, I think, solves a lot of issues of determining what a belt means, because, like, a school has different criteria and people have their own,
They value things differently.
yeah. And I think it's,
Yeah.
I have an issue with belts because there's no way to because there's no central governing body, I guess. There's no way to really kind of definitively say
quantify.
what, because you got your brown belt, right? What do you think a brown belt is?
Right. Wow. I mean, I think one is, like you were saying, it's impossible to quantify. It's all qualitative,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because even black belts get beat in competitions, right? It's an interesting. I think with a brown belt, like I think it's really no different than any other belt. Like you have to have an open mind about where you are in your own process, right? Like, and are you honest with yourself about it? I think you need to know how to defend. I think you need to know nomenclature, because if you're expecting to communicate to people and share skills, like, you need to understand that. I think you need to be able to teach. So there's like kind of two separate tracks too, right? Like there's people who are really good coaches that are not great competitors, and vice versa. But I think a brown belt needs to be able to teach anybody.
Why though?
And
Why,
that doesn't.
there's been a big, I've heard from different sources and stuff that teaching is part of the criteria, but I don't understand why there's such an emphasis on teaching, because not everyone that comes through your school is going to be able to teach, and that's just kind of a personal thing, a personality thing. Like, but I think
we're looking at the definition of teacher differently.
Okay.
I don't see it necessarily as someone who's leading a class.
Okay.
I see it as someone who can work with somebody and help them problem solve through their own game.
Okay.
and help them evolve, right? Like it's like the best parts of jujitsu a lot of times are after class and you're just sitting around rapping about ideas and like playing with ideas and concepts. And I think that in there is like some of the best teaching that happens in jujitsu is those like small moments. Or even like whenever you're sparring with somebody and after you're done sparring, or when you're doing whatever your skill or task or game you're working on during class, and you're working with someone and you're processing through that. And I think a person who is a higher belt should have enough sophistication to be able to help someone figure out where the gaps are in their own logic, in their own strategy, in their own technical application, to help them through that, right? And that to me is teaching. It's not necessarily like you and I are not the same, right? Like I have 25 years of teaching. You have no formal training. So like
Well,
our ability to teach a class is different, right? But that doesn't make it better or worse.
maybe I don't like the word
It's just
teaching. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I think maybe a different word would be.
coaching. Yep. I like coaching more actually
I don't know
because I
about. I
feel
don't even
like
know about because I feel like coaching and teaching implies like a student, like a imbalance of power. When what
yeah,
where
I
you're
think
talking
that's
about is like working with someone.
yeah, because that's a big issue I have with just kind of education in general. I don't believe in opening up someone's head and pouring knowledge into it. I believe in like processing information, processing it with other people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm saying I think anybody.
Maybe collaborating is a better word.
So there is collaboration, right? But then like part of collaboration is also coaching someone through a process, whether it's your own processor or not.
I don't know.
So like
We'll agree to
how
disagree
I
on this.
yeah, that's all right. That's why I have a degree and you don't. That's all right.
I'm a teacher. I own a gym. I'm a brown belt.
No,
Okay, yeah,
no, I think
I
that's the
get it,
key.
dude.
Everybody should be able at every belt, like a blue belt should be able to help a white belt process through information to help them find holes in their logic, to help them work through it, from a demonstration of their skill. It doesn't mean they have all the answers, but you should know more than someone else. And if you don't, you should be able to help ask questions to get them moving along. And that's what I mean by teaching and coaching, like not necessarily just getting up and leading a class. Because there's plenty of people who can get up and lead a class
Yeah, I mean,
and they suck.
I agree
And they
with the
suck as
sentiment about the blue belt helping the white belt. I just don't like the word coaching and teaching for
Yeah,
representing that. That's all. Because I think it means
that's
something
fair.
else. That's all. So I think
Yeah,
we are in
it
agreement.
means, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Uh, Now, do you think that there's the age old wrestler dilemma? You know, you have a high school state champion come on the mats and they're a white belt.
Yeah.
Is a belt, is it representative of time? Is it representative of skill? Should, competitive performance come into play? Like, how do you feel? I think blue belt is especially. I consider it a lot. I think a lot of these questions about what a belt means, a lot of it can be pointed to at blue belt specifically. Do you think a high school state champion should just be given a blue belt?
I think it depends on what your priorities are as a school, right? Like if it's time, toughness, technique, that we often talk about that at our gym, in our system. And is your school a school that teaches self-defense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a priority for them because there are schools that are and there are schools that aren't. But if you're someone who says that you teach self-defense and that is an anchor to your program, most high school state champions don't know self-defense techniques.
I feel like a blast
that doesn't mean
double, could probably defend
absolutely.
you from most attacks.
I couldn't agree more, right? Like, but I think it comes down to like what you prioritize, because what is self-defense, right? Like it's the ability to defend yourself. Does that mean you have to know, 118 self-defense techniques? Well, if your school prioritizes that, then yes, you need to know those things. But if your school doesn't prioritize those things, then no, right? It comes down to, I think, what your priorities are. I think like if I would take a state champion high school wrestler any day in a fight and pick them to win over 95, 97, 98% of the population, even if they're a 130-pound wrestler, right? Like it depends what state too, let's be honest.
I think like like blue belt, I think it's the criteria for a blue belt seems to be pretty universal, and I think there's not a lot of arguments about what a blue belt is. I think where we run into issues with our wrestler, like, okay, say, a blue belt should know how to do an arm bar, a triangle, basic fundamental jiu-jitsu stuff. But when this person is now going to compete at like a local tournament and they're competing at white belt, I think that's an issue. Because competition-wise, they're not a white belt, right? And I think it's unfair to other actual white belts to have that person competing at white belt.
Why?
Because their skill set is not a white belt skill set. If they're a state champion in wrestling, their skill set is not white belt. No way.
So they know how to wrestle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not going to say names. I think they're a great person. I hold nothing against them. They were a very talented wrestler. They competed at white belt. They ragdolled everyone the entire tournament. I watched him do it. And he won fair and square, but he was not a white belt. He does not compete like a white. He has a skill set that is more advanced than everyone else there.
So I'll say this on the other side. I've seen world-class wrestler, USA all-world team, junior world team, as a white belt and not win a tournament in a white belt tournament. And he was prolific as a wrestler, like high level, like tops in the country. He did great in no-gi, but in gi he took second.
Okay, so
he lost to another white belt who had no wrestling.
Okay, but he still got second. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah, in a local tournament, which is great, but it's not second at Worlds. So I think and he's a great wrestler. Like I have so much respect for him. But it's different, right? And I think that's the thing that makes it interesting. Gi, no gi, like that's a whole nother thing too, right? Like if we're talking about a wrestler, because how many times have you wrestled or did jiu-jitsu with somebody who is a wrestler and you've been able to handle yourself? You've been able to at least not get tapped out. The pace may have been high because it's a wrestler and wrestlers have high paces, but like you didn't lose.
Well, I guess that, I mean, if it's a point system, I would still lose on points. I mean, I wouldn't get submitted necessarily, but I'm going to get taken down and then he's going to lay on top of me for 1,000 years. Honestly, it's been a very long time since I've rolled with a wrestler.
I mean, I think it just depends, like gi, no gi. I think that matters. But I think also too, it's just like the priority. And what do you value like as a program, and that's also what makes it hard, like comparing a blue belt to a blue belt, a purple belt to a purple belt, and vice versa. Because we all know too, like a competitive belt color is a lot different than a hobbyist.
Right.
Right. Like, so I would say, even kind of going back to what you were saying, like I would say that because I was competing more frequently, Chad and Paul were pushing me to make sure I was better than just a hobbyist because I was competing.
Yeah.
My pace, especially like my pace was higher, right? Like because I was competing, I was training harder, I was training more, I was being more thoughtful about how I was training. So my pace was like super, especially in a no-gi, it was so much higher than it was when I was like just doing it as a hobby. Mm-hmm. Not that I was any good at competing. Let's be really clear about that. Like I wasn't great, but it's a different beast for sure.
Yeah. And I think maybe not the opposite side of the coin of the wrestling dilemma, but you have gyms manipulating the belt system, holding people back when they shouldn't be held back, just so they can compete at a lower division. So, the sandbagging thing. I feel like that also is kind of devaluing what these belts mean. If I have a guy who is probably a 3-stripe purple belt still in blue belt, just so I can keep him down there to get gyms or to get medals for him and the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I think when someone's doing it for that purpose, I mean, that's stupid.
Which then
right?
leads to
Because-
my question for you, BJ. Should we even have belts? They don't have belts in no-gi. They don't have belts in other martial arts like Muay Thai. Like, is this whole system pointless? Craig Jones called it a marketing scheme just to keep people coming back, give you a reason to be there to get the next, it's like a video game. I'm leveling up, get another belt.
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely some legitimacy and truth to that. But I think that's also not everybody. Some people need that external motivation, right? Like they need to see, like it's a qualitative way to quantify your progress, and I think there are people who need that. Like,
well, I'm gonna push back to you a little bit on that. No-gi's popularity over gi, I would say, is probably higher. And no-gi doesn't have belts, so is the belt system that important?
it would be interesting to see how many participants there are in gi versus no gi. Because I can say this: at Worlds, there's a lot more people in gi than there are at no gi Worlds. Like a significant amount. There's just more people, right? Like the volume's higher. So I would be curious, like what that translates to. But I don't think the belt is the thing that makes no-gi like the thing that makes it attractive.
I'm not saying that that's what makes it attractive. I'm just saying because of its popularity, like, are belts even needed to encourage people to have motivation for people to show up?
For sure. I think as long as time has been around, right, and competition has existed, like whether it was an olive branch, that you got around your head in ancient Greece, like there's a large portion of our population that needs to know that they're making progress. And the sparring that occurs in a gym isn't enough for some people, because that also comes back to all gyms are different too, right? Like you've trained in other gyms, I've trained in other gyms. There's some gyms that we've gone to where it's like, oh my God, this is a whole nother level of misery. And then there's other gyms where you go to and you're like, this is not what I'm used to. And that's the way it is, right? So like, but people just always need to know where they stand. And especially if you're someone who's like in it for like the long haul, I think it means less. Like the belt system means less. But I would also push back to people who say that and be like, well, when you were a white belt, did it matter when you got your blue belt? Because I think it does matter to people, whether they want to admit to or not. And I think the further you go down, the less important the belt becomes. But definitely early on, for sure. But that's also why I think we were talking about this before the show too, why a lot of, there's a definitely danger, and there's more and more schools popping up that promotion is like a big deal, and it's a marketing scheme for sure, right? It's like, hopefully it doesn't become what Taekwondo has become, where it's just belt factories and before and after school programs and kids playing, silly games, the whole class. It's not jujitsu, or jujitsu based or wrestling based. And they just get promoted because it's the 6-month check-in. And so you're going to do your little test.
Yeah, I think with the research, I don't know, I'm calling it research, but the research I've done and in this talk, your belt is really a function of your school and coaches, and that's really all it should mean to you. Like, I'm not a purple belt from Kingsway or Simple Man, formerly B Team, is probably going to destroy me every single time. But that doesn't mean I'm not a purple belt. It
Right.
just is what it is, right? You know, it's
Yeah.
like you said earlier, I think at the beginning, if your black belt thinks you're that belt, you are.
Yep. And that's why you got to make sure those where you choose to train or to compete for or whatever, like you're okay with that. And all, you know what I mean, like you're comfortable with where you're at. Because really what it comes down is the community you surround yourself with. Do you like being around the people that you're around? Is it a healthy place? And if you can check those boxes and that's good for you, so be it, right? So be it. But also have the understanding that like because you may be a brown belt at gym X, just know that if you go to gym A, they may destroy you. And you may get destroyed by a blue belt.
Yeah, I think,
So just be real about what you are.
and you shouldn't get upset if a lower belt taps you. And I
Yep.
think that's like, I think that goes back to why I liked Big Dan's thoughts on a measure of personal potential. Just because you're a brown belt and a blue belt tapped you doesn't mean you're not a brown belt, right? It just means in your personal journey, you've reached brown belt, and this blue belt, you know, he's on his own journey. His ceiling's probably higher than yours, or maybe you were, you know, lazy that day, but it doesn't change who you don't have to turn
Yeah.
in your brown belt because a blue belt tapped you.
No, absolutely. Well, and I think too, it's like it's a great check. I mean, like I need to tighten up
Mm-hmm.
some things here, or be a little bit more thoughtful about what I'm doing, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's definitely been true of me. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna let this white belt work a little bit, and then I'm like in a triangle. I'm like, oh god,
Yeah,
oopsie,
I let them work a little too
I
much.
was falling asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
All right, well, I think that I have exhausted all of my thoughts on belts. Do you have any more thoughts?
Man, I think we exhausted that. It's been exhausted.
It's been exhausting talking to you for sure. Actually, last question here, BJ. Um, the blue belt. There's actually maybe two things here. You talked about how like important getting that blue belt generally is for people. There is a bit of a gap between a white belt and a blue belt. And I've seen and I've experienced my own frustration of not getting a blue belt when I think I should. And some gyms have implemented a green belt in between white and blue.
Well, that's just insanity.
So you're anti-green belt?
I am very anti-green belt.
Okay.
Do the work, man. Just because then, like, that's instituting a belt. It's no different because what was it? It was just a blue belt before. It was a
Well,
white belt,
it's
blue belt. Back in the day,
oh.
it was a white belt and a blue belt,
Uh-huh.
right? So I think this the more layers you put in there, that's really like playing to this. I need to either monetize this thing or I need to make people feel good. Like it's okay. It's okay to suffer a bit. It's okay. But yeah, like there should not be a differentiation between the two because also the attrition rate's so high, right? Like that's a good thing. That's a like yeah. I think from that white to blue, like because when you're a blue belt, you should be able to defend yourself, like on the mat, and if you prioritize self defense, off the mat, right? But like you should be able to do that as a blue belt.
I think you need to go through that anguish of not getting your blue belt. I think that's a necessary part of your experience. And if you can't handle
Yeah.
that, you shouldn't do it because it only gets worse from there. And you need to
Yeah.
like be like, okay, you need to accept I'm not a blue belt yet, and that's okay. I'm on my way, and you need to just you got to be at the bottom of the barrel for a bit. you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Especially in a combat sport,
hmm
right? And especially in a situation where um you want, like, I want people in my gym who are in it for the long haul. And if you're just someone who's like comes in for a year and you're like, yeah, I should be a blue belt because I wrestled and all that stuff, that means you're not bringing anything to this gym. You're just looking to take from this gym. And I don't find that as a coach, I don't find that appealing. And I don't even want that. I mean, I think that's like the biggest thing. When you come to a gym, you need to say, what am I offering to this gym? And then what is this gym offering me? And how are we growing together to build something special? And I think if you're coming in and you're just coming in with the intent of like, yeah, I should get my blue belt or I should get my whatever belt, you're offering nothing. And you just want to take, and that's no good.
Now, after these people have earned their blue belt, there's the stereotype that they always leave.
Hmm.
The blue belt blues. You've been a blue belt. I've been a blue belt. Did you experience that desire to stop training after you got the blue belt?
Yeah, no, I think that's really interesting too, right? Like, because I never got that. I never understood that mindset at all. Like, but I think it comes back to like, what's your priority in doing jujitsu? Like, what's your reason for doing this? And I think people who get their blue belts and they bounce out, they do that for their own personal reasons. I just don't think their reason for doing jujitsu was compelling enough. Like I think so many of us love the grind. We love the like to learn. Those of us who stay in it, like who signs up and goes, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and risk getting hurt and be suffocated, have my arm put in a bad position for the long haul. Who does that? Unless you really want to learn, right? You really want to grow in some kind of way. And that community keeps pulling you back, like going to class because you love being around those people or you want to be around those people.
Yeah, I think. Well, okay, I should say this. After my blue belt, I did leave. However, that was because my body was broken. I had two fractured toes when I got my blue belts, and I was getting married in a few months, so I needed to take time off to heal
Mhm.
for my my wedding. But I did come back. I think so. My situation is a little different, but I think some
Yeah.
people may feel that fraud feeling, and it's like, okay, I got my blue belt now, uh, and I am not going to be mentally okay if white belts are giving me trouble. I think that's a big issue for a lot of people. Because
Yeah. I think that's probably a big issue for that person in a lot of other aspects of their life too.
it kind of reminds me of like when uh, going from kindergarten to first grade, like for me, like the idea of being in grade school, like I was so cool at that point. I felt so much above the kindergartners, but there was like a year difference, right? And I feel like going from white belt to blue belt feels very similar. And I think there is a lot of self-confidence issues with like, if I can't, now that I'm a blue belt, I can't take care of I should be wiping the floor with white belts now. But that
Right.
hardly ever happens because, you're going to run into that 5-stripe white belt who's just, I mean, I ran into this issue when I got my blue belt. It is hard. It's a hard pill to swallow because now you got color on your belt. You feel like a big shot and you're not, I think you mentioned that you're still the same person the day before and the day after you got the belt. And so your skills haven't changed any, but in your mind, you're like, I'm blue belt now. Like I'm the shark in these waters, but
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah. But I think you also like, that's a good thing, right?
I think it
Because
actually
then,
is a good thing, but I think people don't process it like that. Oh, some
yeah.
people don't process it like that.
No, I would agree. And I think that comes back to the community and the culture that's in that gym, right? Like, how do you, like, who can you, because you need to process that. right? Like you need to think through that. You need to think about how does this apply to my game? How am I evolving? How am I not? Like, because it is frustrating. Like, and that happens at every belt, right? I remember feeling that way as a white belt. I remember feeling that way as a blue belt. I can tell you exact moments. I remember as a white belt, this guy, Andrew, his name was Andrew Buttville. He was the captain of Penn State's wrestling team. And he was
Buttville?
one of our, yeah, Buttville. He had a twin brother. They were both wrestlers at Penn State. And he was the captain of Penn State's wrestling team. This was like 2000, early 2000s, like 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. And we were both white belts together. And it was awful. Like, it was awful. He was a straight killer, right? And I remember, like, this is no good. This sucks. But also, I was in a healthy gym where I was like, hey, dude, put in perspective. Like, yeah, you know, you're a good athlete, play college sports. This is a different breed of human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, like, stop measuring it against Andrew or Taylor, Dixon, who was awesome as well. Like, stop measuring yourself against them. See if you're getting better. And know that, like, you can improve. Blue belt, it was the same type of thing. Like, I had the same scenarios, right? Even, and then as a purple belt, it was the same thing. I experience it now as a brown belt. Like,
Well,
I think it all comes back to who you're surrounding yourself with. And be realistic about who you are, right?
yeah, I don't think that the issue exists for purple and brown belts because they already went through it at blue belt. You know, a purple belt at that point would understand, you know, this blue belt or this white belt, they can tap me and I'm going to be okay with it. It's not going to be the end of the world. I think
Sometimes I think when you compete though, like you're like, I should have, like, that was a disaster.
well,
Right?
I
Like,
think that's
against
different
another-
though. I think competing is a different beast than just like being on the mats with people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think my only rationale for the blue belts blues is coming to terms with your skill level and understanding that the belt doesn't change anything.
Yeah. That's for sure.
So I think the reason why I did this episode was I wanted to point out to you, BJ, is that your brown belt doesn't mean anything, and I'm not proud of you. That's all this
think
was.
that's
It was a ruse, BJ. A 70-minute ruse. You fell for it.
I agree. I agree.
All
But
right.
you know what?
What?
It just means I've been hurt a lot on this journey,
Emotionally, physically.
physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Well, BJ, that's going to do it for this week's Tap Often podcast. I'm your host, Alex. Your name is... Who cares? We'll catch you next time.